Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
And good morning to you. It is Monday. It is January 27th.
Thanks for being with us this morning, everybody. Can't believe we're almost in February.
How was your weekend?
It was actually terrific. I attended a baby shower, which is always fun, seeing all the little bitty clothes, and everybody's so happy. So it was a great weekend. How about yours?
Not bad. Got a brisket successfully smoked. My second attempt.
It looked delicious.
It's far better than the first one. It's always nice when things start to fall apart in a good way.
Yeah. So how long did it take you?
Let's see, I smoked it from 7 a.m. to just about 5 p.m.
Wow, that's a long time.
Well, a good one takes 12 to 18 hours or more.
Well, it looked delicious. I saw pictures of it. Well, if you want coffee with your brisket, apparently we've all been making our coffee wrong, everybody.
Oh, yeah, that's a good segue, too, because there is actually a coffee rub for many cuts of
I've heard of that before.
Beef. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. We apparently, so there are wine snobs, there are coffee snobs, and we know some of you out there are like, yeah, well, you've all been making it wrong because I know the right way. Well, there's a new study out. It was published just last week in the academic journal Matter.
All right. They said we as a society have been making espresso incorrectly for a while now. That's according to mathematicians and scientists across the world, everybody. This is like a lot of smart people.
Yeah. So the authors claim coffee makers, both at home and even in cafes, are using too many beans and too fine a ground, resulting in, quote, wasted raw material and inconsistent flavor.
They said with our instruction form, our model, we have outlined a procedure to eliminate these shortcomings.
An espresso shot that uses fewer beans and more coarse grind is how scientists claim consumers can eliminate waste and have more uniformity of flavor among shots while maintaining the strength of the coffee from a finer grind.
So they call for 15 grams instead of 20 grams of coffee per shot. It will decrease the mass of coffee used per espresso by up to 20%, and it will have a significant economic impact and create more sustainable coffee consuming future.
That's right. Not everybody's on board, though. I mean, if you want to get down to the nitty gritty of this, the one barista said the best extraction practices are extremely dependent on the origin of the coffee bean. This includes the presence of lactic acid based on elevation, fermentation of the coffee bean, husk or cherry, and how the washing process affects available sugars. That is down to the science of it, isn't it?
All I care about is, does it have caffeine?
Yeah, we sure hope so, right?
That's the important part. Let's take a look at your rundown.
The mayor of Los Angeles may have said it best. Kobe Bryant will live forever in our hearts and will be remembered as one of our greatest heroes.
Fans have been sharing their grief overnight at memorials in Los Angeles, around the country, and across the globe.
From the Spurs as they played yesterday afternoon against the Toronto Raptors. A moment of silence was held before the game started, and then both teams started the game making 24-second violations to honor Bryant, who wore number 24.
John Altobelli, a former University of Houston assistant coach, and his wife and daughter are also among the 9 killed.
Former National Security Advisor John Bolton. A new report by the New York Times shows just how critical to the case he may be. Times says Bolton detailed an August 2019 conversation with Trump, claiming the president told Bolton personally that he wanted to continue withholding military aid to the Ukraine until officials there launched investigations into Trump's rivals, including Joe Biden.
2 men who police say were watching television and found themselves involved in a real-life drama. Someone shot them, firing into their Northside apartment complex. Katrina Weber is live where it happened at West Avenue near Blanco, and you said one of the victims, Katrina, is in critical condition.
One critical, one was stable. Both men taken to a hospital by ambulance.
New cases in California and Arizona have now pushed the number of patients in the U.S. to 5. Each of them traveled recently to the epicenter of the outbreak, Wuhan, China.
San Antonio police have charged a man with intoxication manslaughter after a deadly crash on the west side this weekend. 18-year-old Stephen Medina was booked following the crash in the 3600 block of Claybrook yesterday.
But the night truly belonged to Billie Eilish, who won all 4 of the big categories at the Grammys, running out of people to thank in her final acceptance speech.
Congratulations, Billie Eilish.
She is so talented.
Yeah, she is.
Excuse me, I'm a little choked up here.
I haven't seen much of her. I know she was on SNL this season as the musical guest.
Yeah, she's quite the artist. She is the up-and-comer.
Let's go outside with live cam right now as things are starting to warm up across South Texas. Justin Horn joined us now. Fair question for you as well, sir. How was your weekend?
It was really nice. And not only that, I love the weather. We got up to 80 yesterday. That's warm for January. I think we may set some records here in January. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But For right now, it's a little chilly out there. 55 degrees at the airport, 54 Hondo, 44 in Kerrville, 54 Rock Springs. We'll see a pretty rapid warm up today. It's going to be warm again. Probably not as warm as yesterday, but warm nonetheless. Cold winds at this hour. There still is a little bit of fog out there. Let's check in on that. And we're seeing that mainly across our far eastern counties. So places like Gonzales, Howitzville, Victoria, you are seeing some fog this morning. Should lift within the hour. That dense fog advisory does include some of our eastern counties, goes until 10 o'clock this morning. Meantime, pollen count is in. Mountain cedars in the high category jumped up from where it was over the weekend. Mold is low. That's down from where it was over the weekend. And your forecast for today, lots of sun, up to 75 for a high. But we have rain chances kicking in tonight. A good chance for some showers and storms. We're going to time it out for you and talk about our next chance of rain coming up in just a few minutes. Guys.
Thanks, Chester. Right now, we've got a vehicle over on the side of the road, right shoulder 281 at Divine. We've got slow going, and that appears to be, that looks to be the inbound lanes of I-10. I'm fairly sure it is the southbound lanes of 281.
Well, top stories that we're following for you today. It's been more than 3 years since a road rage incident on the city's north side ended with a man getting shot and killed.
Now, San Antonio police asking for people to help track down the people responsible. The incident happened back in November of 2016 near Huebner and Northwest Military. Police say 25-year-old Gilbert Rocha was sitting in the back of an SUV when someone in another vehicle started shooting. One bullet hit and killed Rocha. Another injured the driver of the SUV that Rocha was in.
If you have any information that could help investigators, call Crime Stoppers at 210-224-STOP. A cash reward is being offered for information that leads to an arrest.
Seems hard to believe, but primary season is almost here. We're only 36 days away from Super Tuesday, and if you have not registered to vote, you need to hurry.
Here are some important dates that you need to know about. The last day to register in Texas is next Monday, February 3rd. Monday is also the first primary in Iowa. Early voting in Texas will open February 18th through the 28th, and the primary takes place on March the 3rd.
If you have any questions about the primaries, like what's on the ballot or how to register, go to our website, ksat.com.
And in your morning headlines, we have video of a deadly plane crash in Florida. There was a very scary landing of a passenger plane in Iran.
An incredible rescue from the tracks of a metro in D.C. and a police officer using daddy skills to help a little girl in a car accident. David Sears, good to see you here back with us this morning.
Good morning. We're talking about people being in the right place at the right time this morning. A little bit of that coming up. All right, you're looking at the results of a plane crash in a neighborhood in Florida. The pilot killed. He was the only one on board, and when the plane hit the ground, burst into flames, fire spread to a house. No one was hurt in the home, and there were no other injuries reported on the ground. The pilot was taking off from an airport just about half a mile away. Officials believe he was actually headed to Texas when that plane went down. Overseas, that is an Iranian passenger jetliner off the end of the runway. The jet made a hard landing, lost a landing gear, then slid off the end of that runway. All 150 passengers on board were okay. They were all helped to the ground through the front door and door over the wing. To make the incident even a little scarier, the plane stopped just short of a populated area. And a pretty incredible rescue taking place a couple of days ago by firefighters in Washington, D.C. A woman had a medical episode, fell off the metro train platform as a train was approaching. Firefighters had a couple of different situations to deal with. First, the woman was injured. She was bloody, covered with dust, so the rescue workers were lying on that platform, talking to the woman to keep her calm. One rescuer even holding her hand for reassurance. The other problem, the train tracks themselves.
Keeping her calm, keeping her away from the train, making sure she didn't touch anything because the train was still energized at that point.
The main thing that saved this patient was the safe haven zone underneath the rail platform.
Yeah, they finally got that power shut off and the woman was rescued. She was taken to a local hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. And finally this morning, an example of just how important it is for our police officers to be well-rounded. In Nebraska, a car with a family slid off into a ditch. When an officer arrived, he realized he had to get a little girl through a scary situation, so the officer took her mind off of things by talking to her about some of the characters from Frozen while he strapped her into that car seat.
Is that Elsa?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
He knows Elsa. Oh, I do. I know Elsa, Princess Anna, Olaf.
And Kristoff and Sven.
Oh, I love Sven. I love Sven.
He's attacking Snowy.
He is. That's Olaf, ain't it?
So at that time, I don't think he was a police officer. I think he was just dad.
Yeah,
just
I
taking
agree.
care of the little girl and strapping her in the seat and talking about frozen.
Yeah, well, he kept it calm, so that made her calm as well.
That's so sweet.
Another reason to have those body cams so you can see all that good stuff they do.
Definitely helps tell the story.
Isn't that amazing?
Yep.
Such sweet video. I love that. And David, it's good to have you back.
Thank you. Good to be here.
We'll be talking sports stuff a little later.
A little later on.
Sad news.
Yeah, some Kobe stuff and talk a little bit about his last trip here to San Antonio.
I know. I want to hear your
He retired,
perspective.
yeah.
I love that picture you posted.
Yeah, there's a good picture of you and Kobe together there.
He's a good guy.
More to come right now, 9:08, 55 degrees.